Hello, everyone. Welcome to the series of leadership talks that we are having from the experts who are working in the industry. And today we have with us Sahithi Koppula. She is a biomedical engineer turned data enthusiast. And that is exactly what her LinkedIn profile also says. And Sahithi has done her BE in biomedical engineering from Osmania University. That's one of the premium universities in Hyderabad. And then she has done her advanced management program in business analytics from Indian School of Business. That's a 15 months program, very intense. And in fact, in Accenture, Sahithi has worked for 4 years as an analyst, right? So let us hear from Sahithi directly on what are a few of the real world projects that you are working on, Sahithi, which might be an area of interest for people who want to switch from different industries into this data field. Yeah, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me here, and I very much appreciate the warm introduction of mine, and very happy to contribute with whatever information I can. So I currently lead the AI initiatives in a data tech vertical of a political consultancy right now. So it's so much of shift from a biomedical engineer to an analyst, and now an AI lead in a political consultancy. So political tech is a relatively new and emerging field in India. While it's still developing here, we must have heard about the poll analysis in the US, like 538, where accurate prediction of polls by using advanced statistical models. So very glad that it is also shaping up in India. So our core mission here is to help the stakeholders derive meaningful and data-driven insights that help them in making better decisions and also rolling out campaign executions, especially in the domain, for example, politics. So where human biases often creep in, numbers and data can always bring objectivity and structure to the process. So, coming to the real life use cases we work on, so one of our biggest challenges is the volume of unstructured data that comes from various sources. So, I think this is a common challenge across all domains. So, field surveys, social media, feedback forms, and the first and most crucial step in the pipeline is always understanding the data. So, first, cleaning the boring steps are the most impactful ones. For example, when we received a lot of open ended textual responses, we were using techniques, NLP techniques like topic modeling, to understand and what exactly the topic is telling about in the complete corpus. So, we might be missing, let's say, uh, for example, if we are only looking at few, if you are not using topic modeling, we might also be missing out some key aspects what people are really talking about in the corpus, be it some YouTube comments or any different source of textual responses. Cleaning the data and really understanding what the data is telling rather than going the other way around. Okay, what we want to listen is something different from what data is speaking about, and later a sentiment analysis, and also the next step, if required, using LLMs to completely summarize the output and be informed about it. That is one particular use case where, understanding, cleaning the textual responses, also basic clustering, text-based clustering, or using algorithm, I mean models like BERT topic of topic modeling are couple of use cases that that come to my mind, and we have worked on also. And one more thing is choosing the right tools day in and day out. For example, a key consideration would be deciding whether a problem needs an advanced solution or a simple automation, a simple workflow. I think that is also very much relevant now. I feel, I mean, industry leaders like you would also be agreeing, because sometimes not every use case requires the complexity and cost of large models or whatever the back end cost the LLMs are costing us. And knowing that difference in real use cases, I feel also saves a lot of time and resources. That is also an important step in our daily workflow where deciding whether this needs an LLM or should we use simpler models. Maybe the halfway through, first half, let's do use rule based methods, and second step, let's use an LLM. I think that is also one thing which plays a key role. And also there are a couple of use cases where we have tried to democratize data internally by building query agents, text to query bots, where a user asks a question in natural language. The LLM understands the question, creates a SQL query, connects to the database, retrieves the answer, and it is communicated to the user in a language understandable, which most of the organizations are trying to build, so that to reduce the gap between teams, and trying to democratize, also reduce dependencies. That is one use case we also currently have. And also along with that, equipping the LLM with our own knowledge documents using RAG pipelines. These are some of the real life use cases which we work on. And also scaling the data infrastructure smartly. For example, for a couple of use cases, when we require faster data retrieval or horizontal scaling, and when we are not tightly bound by the schema, we try to use MongoDB. Not We haven't completely migrated from SQL. Is still, I feel, the leading thing, and I feel that's the most important one. But for some use cases, shifting to NoSQL and experimenting with MongoDB was also helpful for us in our organization, where we are not tightly bound by the schema. My end goal is quicker retrieval and accessing data fast, no complicated joins. For that kind of use cases, experimenting with that is also a real life use case which we can work, or experimenting with the ones. So these are some of the use cases that in our organization, or somebody who is willing to know what AI use cases are in a political domain. This is a short glimpse. And for example, during couple of use cases specifically to I can recall is when during a campaign time, when we wanted a large level message system. A leader wants to communicate with a lot of volunteers, where we had voice agents, thanks to the LLMs, like our regional libraries like AI for Bharat, all these kinds of libraries, especially for Indian languages. They were very helpful for us, where we were trying to do the text translation, transliteration. That kind of use cases were very helpful for us. And yes, AI is a very fast moving space, and we sometimes get carried away with the hype, but I still feel the fundamentals hold the dear place and still matter the most. So,
Wonderful, wonderful. Sahithi, I must say that you covered wide gamut of use cases, right?
yeah.
And given that political field is emerging and analytics in the space of politics is also emerging, you have, I think, covered the breadth of it very nice. So human bias might creep into this space. You have rightly said so. And hence data-driven decision making becomes very, very important. I was about to ask you, aren't you using LLMs? Because you told that you were taking unstructured data, field surveys, social media data, and then you are making the data speak. But then you covered those aspects as well, starting from BERT model for topic modeling to using LLMs for summarization, and using right choice of tools is extremely important. Not everything will take the route of AI.
Exactly.
As you have rightly said, workflow automation can be done using a few of the software engineering tools as well. You need not have a revolver to kill a mosquito, right? And then you've also spoken about text-to-SQL bot. And you also have said that through this, you'll be reducing the dependency on a few of the people, right? Like data analytics people or BI folks who extract the data upon request and give. Instead of that, you can just issue a voice-based prompt or English prompt, basically. And how you're using the RAG system to access the internal data by leveraging the large language models is another thing that you spoke about. A clever usage of libraries and different other tools that exist for India, like AI for Bharat, etc. That's an amazing thing. And scaling the data infrastructure is very, very important. It is no longer only the software or Python thing, right? Python, SQL, hardware, servers that we use. What if the volume of data increases, number of people accessing your application increase? How does your entire solution, including the hardware, hold on to this sudden surge in the demand? Right, is also extremely important. Yeah, wonderful. I think you covered all the aspects. So I have another question for you, Sahithi. If you were to hire someone who is going to work alongside you, then what kind of skills do you want to have in that person specifically, or someone who reports to you, or working at the same level? Yeah, what kind of skills do you look for?
True. This might be very relevant because now that I mean, everybody, even I myself, I'm overwhelmed by looking at the plethora of tools that we have to always be aware. But I feel, and I've also had a discussion with, I mean, couple of my colleagues when we want to hire people. So we felt that earlier it was only about, when I started my career, it was about writing the code. Now we have shifted to a space where it's not writing the code anymore. It is now ability to debug the code is more important, asking the right questions. So why did it go wrong? Why is it right? So ability to understand the code is still relevant. It's now that we have chat gpt or something, okay, we are done with the code uh, is definitely not selling. So we should have the ability to understand the code. Yes, fundamentals still matter the most. Get your basics right. And probably the kind of applications the person has done, rather than fancy certifications, is also very important. We It's my personal opinion, getting our hands dirty is where the real learning happens. For rather than along with 1 hour we spend on consuming content, at least 5 hours of implementing and experimenting. In fact, I would like to bring out this point that I was part of the MLOps session that was taken by you in ISB, and the foundation project I worked with you has helped me in how to understand a project from end to end. The theory, that was one thing, and when I have really implemented that project and the feedback given by you, okay, how we deploy it in production, that actually gave an advantage when I am working in my industry. So yes, try to build things, not just along with learning, try building things and getting our fundamentals right. The thought process, I think, would remain same irrespective of any coding language, because I started with PowerShell for automating things. Now it is Python. But though maybe the syntax is different, the logic I apply is still the same. How do we approach a problem with, yeah, with so much noise? And also, for somebody in the industry, it's also like we should lead with the problems, not with the solutions. So some cool AI tool is there, okay, let me implement it, rather than that, whether what exactly is the problem I have, whether that fits into the solution, should be the right way, rather than sometimes having realistic expectations in the place we work is also more, I feel. Yes, ability to evaluate, validate code, and real life implementation, getting the basics right, the thought process, I feel I will be looking into a person when hiring, uh, by not being covered with so many technologies to be known. Rather than that, I look at the quality of approaching a problem than the quantity or exposure of tools. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely, Sahithi. One of our person working here was checking with me. Mani, what do you recommend? Cursor or Replit or Bolt or ChatGPT Codex or Copilot? Ask them for what? For writing code. I would recommend you to improve your prompt engineering skill. is what I told him. Everyone has access to the same tools, but the kind of response that you get from that will vary based on the prompts that you issue. So I was telling him that chain of thoughts, tree of thoughts, graph of thoughts are the new prompt engineering techniques. Whatever rudimentary thoughts you have, put it and ask it to generate chain of thoughts. A prompt similar to a chain of thoughts so that you go through it in a comprehensive manner. Then you save it in a prompt template so that it can be reused. I was thinking about that when you said that asking the right questions is more important than writing the code in today's world. But having basic understanding of coding is needed so that when code gets generated, you at least look at that and debug, as you were rightly saying. And then having end-to-end understanding, right from understanding the problem until deploying and then monitoring and maintaining is extremely critical. How would you evaluate the wrong predictions? What is the cost associated with that? Whom are you going to hold accountable if something goes wrong? So these are a set of questions which people are asking today because building the model has become super easy. And one more thing you have told us, problem solving skills. If someone has that mindset, then they will be apt in this industry in the current world. Thank you so much, Sahithi, and all these were very, very informative points that you have given. And thankfully, we have more than 600,000 people on our social media platform. Sooner or later, they would certainly watch such videos and then they learn from it. That's the most important part. Thank you so much for sharing the real world projects that you handle, the experiences of that, and also what kind of skills are needed in the people to get into this field. Thank you so much once again for pulling off time from your busy schedule, and all the best for your future as well. And please do stay in touch.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. And I'm very grateful to be speaking with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.